Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all doing good at home. Okay, Thanksgiving is close and we are all getting ready to celebrate with our family and friends. I hope you guys are doing the same things. All right, so I have a question for you guys. Why do we celebrate Thanksgiving, or why Thanksgiving is an important holiday for today? All right, so for today's activity we're going to read a small article from National Geographic for kids about the history of the first Thanksgiving. Okay, so let's get started. The first Thanksgiving. Native American and early settlers gave thanks together with this historic feast. On the first Thursday of November, people in the United States celebrate Thanksgiving, a national holiday honoring the early settlers and Native Americans who came together to have an historic harvest feast. The Native Americans. Long before settlers came to the east coast of the United States, the area was inhabited by many Native American tribes. The area surrounding the site of the first Thanksgiving, now known as southeastern Massachusetts and eastern Rhode Island, had been the home of the Wampanoag people for over 12,000 years, and had been visited by other European settlers before the arrival of the Mayflower in 1620. The native people knew the land well and had fished, hunted, and harvested for thousands of generations. The settler. The people who comprised the Plymouth colony were a group of English Protestants called Puritans who wanted to break away from the Church of England. These separatists initially moved to Holland, but after 12 years of financial problems, they received funding from English merchants to sail across the Atlantic Ocean in 1620 to settle in a new world. Carrying 101 men, women, and children, the Mayflower traveled the ocean for 66 days and was supposed to land where New York City is now located. But windy conditions forced the group to cut their trip short and settle at what is now Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Settling and exploring. So as the Puritans prepared for winter, they gathered anything they could find, including Wampanoag supplies. One day, someone said a leader of the Abenaki people and the Squantum, better known as Squanto, visited the settler. Squanto was a Wampanoag who had experience with other settlers and knew English. Squanto helped the settler grow corn and used fish to fertilize their field. After several meetings, a formal agreement was made between the settler and the native people, and in March 1621, they joined together to protect each other from other tribes. So basically, they agreed to help each other, alright? They started to work together. The English people didn't know how to hunt or to plant corn, so all this was taught by the native people. Okay, the celebrations. So one day that fall, 4 settlers were sent to hunt for food for a harvest celebrations. The Wampanoag heard gunshots and alerted the leader Massasoit, who thought the English might be preparing for war. Massasoit visited the English settlement with 90 of his men to see if the war was true. So, in other words, the leader of this Native American thought that the English people were going to start a war against them. But when he went to check with his men, all he found out was that the English people were hunting food for a harvest celebrations. So let's continue reading. Soon after their visit, the Native American realized that the English were only hunting for the harvest celebrations. Massasoit sent some of his own men to hunt deer for the feast and for 3 days. The English and native men, women, and children ate together. The meal consisted of deer, corn, shellfish, and roasted meat, different from today's traditional Thanksgiving feast. They played bowls, games, sang, and danced. Alright, so I will show you a picture of how this looked like. So this is one example of the English people who celebrate with the Native American people back then. Okay, so this was a picture of a different site that showed the first celebration between the English one and the Native American. In other words, the first Thanksgiving. Okay, so back to our reading. Although prayers and thanks were probably offered at the 1621 harvest gathering, the first recorded religion Thanksgiving Day in Plymouth happened 2 years later, in 1623. On this occasion, the colonists gave thanks to God for rain after 2 months' drought. Alright, so the first time these people celebrate was in the 1621. However, the first Thanksgiving, like saying, happening in the 1623. Okay, so the myth about the Thanksgiving, or as a Puritan, are often thought of having silver buckles on their shoes and wearing somber black clothing. Their attire was actually bright and cheerful with no shoes buckles. The Native Americans actually did not wear woven blankets on their shoulder and large feathered headdresses, even though some artwork portrayed this. Okay, and thought today we might refer to the Puritans as pilgrims, the Englishmen did not call themselves that. So that's another thing we need to know about the first Thanksgiving. Okay, I know you guys heard that they call these English people who came to the New World as pilgrims. However, they were called themselves as Puritan and not pilgrims. Native American and Thanksgiving. So the peace between the Native American and settlers lasted for only a generation. The Wampanoag people do not share in the popular reverence for the traditional New England Thanksgiving. For them, the holiday is a reminder of betrayal and bloodshed. Since 1970, many Native people have together at the statue of Massasoit in Plymouth, Massachusetts, so each Thanksgiving Day to remember the ancestors and the strength of the Wampanoag. So this is like a different story that happened later on in the history. So basically what this is saying is that the English people, after some generations, like in the future, they went into a war against the Native American. But this is basically like something else that happened later on. Okay, so today modern Thanksgiving. So in the 19th century, the modern Thanksgiving holiday started to take shape. All right, in 1846, Sarah Josie Hale, editor of the magazine called Coday Lady Book, campaigning for an annual national Thanksgiving holiday. But it wasn't until 1863 when President Abraham Lincoln declared 2 national Thanksgiving, one in August to commemorate the Battle of Gettysburg during the Civil War, and the other in November to give thanks for general blessing. It's the second one that we celebrate today. Okay, so that's the end for this article. I hope you guys learned something new about the first Thanksgiving. As you may know, that the first Thanksgiving happened in 1621, all right, between the English people known as, let me find their name here, the Protestant, okay, they call themselves Puritans. So that was the first celebration that happened in the Thanksgiving history, okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this short article from the National Geographic about the first Thanksgiving holiday. As you guys realized from the article that the first Thanksgiving happened in 1621, okay? This was a celebration between the English people known as the Puritans and the Native American people, okay? They gathered together to make a big celebration for the, let's say, the relationship that they have for each other, all right? And also I want to add that through the years the Thanksgiving holiday changed over time, okay? I know the way how we celebrate Thanksgiving today is not the same way that it was celebrated back then. However, we still gather together with our family and friends and, you know, spend time with the families. So hope you guys have a great time with your families and friends, and do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and see you guys in the next video. Take care.